Hey everyone, Lazy Raccoon here, and today I'll be reviewing gameplay Silver 1 like usual, and it's going to be Nautilus support. I think that Nautilus is one of the best supports in the game. He's my personal best support along with Thresh and Leona, and pretty much one of the only reasons why I got to Diamond this season. So it should be a good video to review, so let's get started. Pairing it with Draven is one of the best combos here. Draven goes really well with Nautilus, Leona, even Thresh, or even Raccoon. So here we're against all 80, that's huge, that's really good to know. And 2 range 80s, so 2 fighting 80s, should be an interesting game. Skip ahead here. Get to the laning phase. Let's see how we approach the laning phase. We already question if they're going to be there. Getting placing the ward here, pretty big waste. Since we face check it anyways, placing the ward there is just a waste of a ward. So when I approach these lanes, we want to get level 2 as fast as possible and then just start zoning them off. Sending here is pretty good. So we don't want to waste our stacks of Relic on the first wave. That way we can clear the second wave faster. Also, we don't want to use our Q to trade right away, because if we save our Q for when we hit level 2, we can get the E and we can just get a lot of damage down. Shorter cooldown when it hits a wall. And you also get half your mana refunded. But here, this is when we should be, like, although we're against 2 ranged players in the bot lane, we want to be getting those stacks off as fast as possible, get those 3 minions, and go for the level 2 engage. We got the 1. And here, since we're for sure getting level 2, we shouldn't even be back here. We should be pressuring, getting ready to zone them or force an engage, hopefully land a hook, and get a really good trade. So here, we got level 2, we don't do anything with it. Another kind of a cheese trick that I like to do, not so much a cheese, but it's just really effective. When minions are within killable range for your stacks, stand here or around here, auto, and as soon as your auto kills the minion, whip out your Q, and they won't really expect it because you'll kill the minion before they think it's going to die. And even if you time it with Draven's auto, so it's even like around half health, if Draven autos and you auto it immediately, the minion will die so fast they won't even see it coming. And then you just follow up with a Q immediately, and you'll hit the hook almost every time, especially if they're standing in front like that. So we end up not doing anything with our level 2. Something to look for in the future. Level 2 is a really defining moment for bot lane early game, and you can control much of the lane from that. If you got a trade right here, you'd be able to constantly poke with Draven's axe and maybe get kill pressure, but at least zone them. Here, standing back makes more sense because we're just gonna end up taking free poke. Getting the relic on the cannon is pretty good. You should save a relic stack for the cannon every single time. So here, we want to continue being aggressive. They do have vision in the bush, but I like to dip in and out of the bush in general and try and make them watch you as much as possible. Not quite the best hook. The hitbox on the Q can be a little bit bigger than you expect, unlike Thresh's Q. So we don't have anything, there's no reason to stand up here. And we want to also save our stacks as much as we can, whether for when we're either lower health, or so we can use it in the heat of the moment to auto something and get that little bit of extra health. You always want to try and have 1 stack, so that way you can save it for the cannon or use it for something better. This is kind of awkward because now we can't really do much. At this point, Draven should be hitting some autos in there, playing more aggressive. Freezing here is really bad. I mean, we're against Xin Zhao, whose ganks aren't super effective, but playing here, like, you can't do anything here. We're expired. This is a great time to hard shove this wave and then place a really nice deep ward right here so you can cover 2 of the jungle camps and see exactly where Xin is going to be heading. So here we want to be standing over here. Draven is a little bit back, but hopefully he'll play closer to you. And then you can land a hook and he'll hopefully follow up. Like right here, if you're on the side here, you pressure them. And if you land a hook, Draven's close enough, you can just immediately go onto them. And you are spread out, so they could start focusing you. But Draven should be moving a little bit closer, and you'll win almost any trade. So here's a great time to hook. Anytime the wave is right here and they go for the cannon, you can force a hook on them and pressure them so they can miss that cannon. That was a bit of a missed opportunity. Xin Zhao's in the jungle. Good turn. I like how we were able to notice on the minimap that the Xin Zhao was fighting there. It would have been hard turning on that because their bot lane would have followed you. But turning on this specific fight, really good. And I'm not sure if we're balancing the autos there, but yeah, when you auto with Nautilus, it stuns them for 0.75 seconds, I believe. So turning here, really good positioning of the Q2, where if you miss the Lulu, you would hit the Vayne. So we get the auto onto Lulu. Right after, we want to auto the Vayne immediately. That way, when we auto the other enemy, it stuns them right away. And it allows time for the cooldown on your auto to slowly start diminishing. And so if you use your autos as much, not as much as you can, but as fast as you can, and then start using your abilities to focus whoever's the biggest threat, then by the time they either run away or the other bot lane comes back to trade, your auto stun will refresh and you can use it again. And we want to be igniting as right, like just before that actually. If we had ignited right away there, because we knew that this was an all-in at this time, if we ignited right away, the heal that just went off would have been diminished because Ignite reduces the effects of heal, but because Ignite was used after, the full effect of heal was able to be used. So, also since we stunned Lulu with our auto right away, she's coming back into the fight. Since we can't do anything on Vayne at this exact moment, if we auto Lulu here, it'll stun her, and by the time our E is up, we can also use that on the Vayne. But instead we auto the Vayne, which doesn't quite, we get the E off, but if we stun the Lulu there, she can't get into range to help, and we'd still be in range to do everything we need to. I think that definitely could have been played better with the balancing of the autos. And focusing the Vayne, getting the Ignite off right away would have been huge. That would have reduced any of the healing, well, most of the healing from Vayne. I think you guys would have won the fight from that. And then just flashing there was a waste. I tend to see that a lot in low gold and even lower. A lot, especially in lower than gold, where people use their flash and when they're already dead, or basically already dead. I'm not sure what our rune setup is. I don't think we need to go into that. Whatever that rune is, I don't think that's useful. Draven forgot to take his E. I was wondering why Draven wasn't doing enough damage, but I really think the Ignite could have gotten the double kill there. As well, it's pretty picky. But because if you had autoed the Vayne directly after autoing Lulu, So if you autoed the Bane right there instead of autoing the Lulu, as we go into the fight, it would have refreshed sooner, and you actually would have gotten another stun off of Vayne in that exact fight. And that, as well as the Ignite before the heal, would have won that fight pretty heavily. We even should have, I think, in my opinion, autoed the Vayne first instead of right away autoing the Lulu, because we would have refreshed that timer even sooner. Always focus on the timer for your autos. There's that little circle that goes around the champion, and it'll tell you how much longer before you can stun that champion with an auto again. I pay very close attention to that. And when I'm in a team fight with multiple people that are in close proximity, I try and auto as many of them as possible, and then use my E, and then follow up with my Q if I haven't already used my Q first. And then you just rotate all of your CC constantly. Don't focus on getting damage, you just want to focus on CC. So here you don't really need to use your stacks. It's not like the biggest deal, but you could be saving them for sustain in lane once you start making trades. Definitely use it for the cannon every single time. So it looks like we're freezing here. We could have actually gone mid instead of heading bot right away and looking for a bit of a play, since we know that bot lane reset. And then if we get a play or not, it wouldn't really matter because we wouldn't miss anything. Walking up there was really good. Even not even using your hook, just having the ability to use your hook is a lot of CC. Like, it zoned her completely off. It wasn't effective in this scenario, but in any other case, a lot of cases where they're going for the cannon, you can just walk forward and zone them off. So they have mid and jungler on the mid. It looks like they're trying to get a dragon play here, but I don't think Xin Zhao will be able to do it at all since your bot lane has priority. Here I always look for in case they get forward just a little bit too far, and then I can pull in or use my hook. They're standing a little bit too far here, but if they're a little bit forward, you can hook them and pull them just out of tower range and get your auto in and make a quick trade. So this is pretty good. With a lane like as aggressive as this, you want to shove as far in as you can and then help your jungler secure all their camps. Since Lulu is right there, we can see that she's helping the jungler. We want to just follow in on that or focus Vayne right away. So here we want to keep healing, try and get the hook. I would not even actually try and fight this since Lulu is right behind. Use the E to slow, auto to stun. We don't even need to turn this. Now they're in the minion wave, this is when you want to hook Vayne. Perfect. And then we get the auto stun onto Vayne. Really good. She doesn't end up dying. We want to turn and use our autos as much as possible, rotate them through all the champions. I think we could have saved the Kayn there by autoing the Trent, but that is okay. So I think they reset. I don't know how much gold Draven has, but since Dragon is still up, their team probably reset too. Yeah, they've already taken it. They were at the Dragon, so we want to hard shove, hope, because otherwise they'll just gank and then just reset right here. Draven does want to push, so usually you just follow the ADC. If they want to hard shove, just shove it out. But in the end, I think if we had reset right there, we'd be coming back to our first tower. So, like I was saying before, if you save those stacks, and then you can use it to do that cheese where you kill the minion when they're not expecting it, and right away follow through with the hook. Or even if I see Draven autoing this minion and it will die, I'll load up my Q, so it starts the animation, and the minion dies just as my Q is activating, and it'll catch them quite off guard. But you need to know the timing of the wind up of your projectiles and your animations. So here would be a good time to go mid. For the first item, I would definitely stay away from the recommended page for Nautilus support. Gargoyle Stoneplate is nearly a must-have to rush. It's extremely effective since your sole purpose is to just be there, soak up the damage, and provide CC. And the Stoneplate does that very effectively since you gain more healing and more armor and MR, and your damage is reduced, but you're not doing damage anyways, so... And I actually go for Moby boots a lot of the time, just so you can run around the map. But the armor boots here, the Ninja Tabis, is pretty good considering they're all AD. This is a really odd item to buy considering they're all AD. Losing to the Shopkeeper. Last Shadow has a lot of videos and a lot of comments about people, even in the LCS, losing to the Shopkeeper named Boris. So since the enemy bot lane just hard shoves in, as they usually do in this elo, so this, we can get a really good trade here. If we can get Vayne, they have 6, but we have all our tools we need. We have the flash, we have the ignite. We want to be sending aggressive. We have more than enough tools, I think, to kill them. We want to be playing as far up as we can without taking minion aggro, and just constantly pressure them. Walk up, walk back, walk up, walk back, stop, pretend like you're going to Q, pretend like you're going to engage. Make them scared to hit CS, especially right here when they're going for the cannon. There's no reason we should be playing back like this, especially when the lane is pushed up and we have a heavy engage and they're going for cannon. So here, we should be getting ready to Q as soon as, well, we can't anymore, but... So now we see that Lulu is going for the dragon, or not the dragon, the Xin Zhao and Tryndamere. Okay, they ended up getting double killed. We can't play aggressive anymore because Xin Zhao could be hovering. I don't think he is, because he's probably getting... Well, he could be getting scuttle there, but they are pushing bot lane in, so I don't think they can dive. Not even close. And they're able to get the pink ward there. Scuttle's still not taken. Yeah. This would be a great time to engage with Q. Unfortunately, we want to ult ignite right away. Get the auto off on the Vayne, get the auto and the E off. We don't get the ignite. Pretty unfortunate. We need to get quicker on those ignites. Oh, we can actually turn this. Yeah. We gotta get those ignites off faster. Not only is it a good source of true damage, but if we can reduce the healing on the Vayne, that'd be nice. Kane's going in. He'll probably pick up the kill. Maybe not. Okay. Please don't get that item. Okay, that's better. So Draven's farming alone. Can't really do anything mid, so we end up, ironically enough, heading mid on this time. At least we're picking up the CS. Tryndamere could have easily just taken that tower. So Dragon is up soon. No, Xin Zhao just showed himself on the top side. The river is most likely warded. We probably should have grouped with the Kane to make sure he's okay. This isn't too good. E to slow. Q to a wall so it reduces... Oh. Good escape. We're probably going to end up losing this dragon. I think Tryndamere may dive here. We should be warding over the wall. No, he is back mid. So we have the stopwatch for this fight and 3 relic stacks. We should be healing up. We can't really do anything to fight because of how low you are, but at least we can most likely, if we play it properly, defend if they dive. And then we should be resetting here. They're gonna get a free drag now. Your team does want to contest it. See, normally I go for these risky plays. Oh, that's too late. Draven isn't able to see ult. Actually, decent stopwatch because it baited her flash, but really unfortunate Draven didn't see that. I actually think that it's not a bad play for the outcome. We don't get the dragon, I think, but we end up distracting Vayne so she isn't in the fight whatsoever. Long enough so that Kane can get a double kill. So let's see what happens. We end up hitting bot side. Here we should be playing extremely aggressively. We want to get Draven some kills here, get the ball rolling. I haven't seen the scoreboard in a while yet. Here, every time the 3 minions approach like this, I usually walk up to this side or this side and try and get in a queue and at least get a free trade and get some damage. Because like walking up like that for them shouldn't be happening. They should be punished for that. Draven's resetting. Kind of questionable considering it's a cannon. I don't think Xin Zhao. Yeah, he's on top side. As soon as Vayne uses a Q, look to Q because she's already used her movement. Her only dodging ability. So here again, 3 minions come up. We should be moving aggressively. We know that it'll be a 2v2. So bot side is coming mid. Okay, Draven is pinging it. Here we should be shoving, as soon as we see the bot side leave, we want to shove this out, so that way, if bot side does mess around in mid, they're going to miss out on a huge wave that pushes into their tower. So let's skip ahead here to lane. So as we can see, Vayne actually is pretty fed. We can't really 2v2. We missed a lot of opportunities. Draven and Nautilus have a huge advantage early game against Lulu and Vayne. So I think a big thing to work on is learning your champions when they are most effective, when you can trade, and kind of what the purpose of your champion is. Because if you have a huge advantage early game, you like a huge possible advantage just based off the champions you've picked and you don't know it, you're allowing them to gain an advantage by scaling for free. Here, when you see the ADC pushing like that alone, I sometimes like to hide in the alcove or hide in the bush and see if they go for a 2v1, but we can't really fight anyways, so we don't want to be staying under their tower for too long. So this is risky. Staying like this, as soon as Quinn shows, it could be a 3v2. Lulu's coming. Quinn probably is going to show up. He may... Oh no, he's heading back mid. Diana's pushing really nicely, so we need to help her provide pressure by heading into the river. We should definitely be heading into the river there. Or at least turning on Vayne. Vayne should not be farming for free with double buffs. Lulu is able to leave the lane, help Quinn kill Diana, and come back while Vayne was farming. So we can't even 2v2 anymore. This is kind of a tricky situation. Pretty close. Ignite E. Nice. I don't know where. I guess Lulu just left the lane. It's pretty funny. After getting that ult, as soon as you ult, you want to line yourself up so you can't miss the Q. She did get behind minions, but you guys definitely took advantage of that. That was really good. And you just want to shove this in as hard as you can. Get as much damage as you can onto the tower, and notice that they're missing on the minimap and back off. Perfectly fine. We want to start trying to get some drags here. They're low. I think you guys can 3v2, 3v3 here. Nasus believes you guys are collapsing in, so he goes in to fight, and you guys kind of leave him there to dry by just standing around. There's a good pick. Missed the Q. I think a lot could have happened there that we didn't really take advantage of. Even if Nasus didn't fight, at least being around to scare them off of him would have really helped. But maybe the next dragon. Oh, TP comes in. Should be a free double here. Diana comes in. Here, ADC and bot lane. ADC and support yourself should be heading to the mid lane. And here we should be getting ready to use a flash if Vayne stays. If she's at all in vision, I would just go for that. Good zoning. We still need someone mid though. Death timers are coming down. At least we escorted the minion wave, and now good idea to recall here. Draven's staying. You could also opt to take their camps, since they need to respond to that minion wave. And we're already going to lose the towers when we recall, so we might as well go for things like that. Draven actually almost died there. Get that Q. Nice. Auto for the stun. Flash onto Quinn. Flash ults. Little bit slow. A little bit of hesitation. Because of that, you guys may both die. Pretty unfortunate. Wow, that was close. Nasus did really well there, but because we baited the Xin Zhao, but still that was so close. Igniting earlier, like, would have helped a lot more. We're pretty lucky we won that. But okay, since we're pushing here, we're gonna lose that tower no matter what. We need to send one back to clear the waves, and then you guys can stay and push for that tower. Recalling here when Nasus is already coming back doesn't make sense. Whereas if we had stayed with topside, we would have been able to help them, help Kane and Diana clear the jungle, take away value from their side of the map. So Dragon's coming up in 2 minutes, 2 to 3 minutes. I haven't looked at the scoreboard. This is great for Draven to freeze farm and try and get some stacks. Good hiding there using Nasus as bait. We want to be getting some pink wards. Thornmail was, just noticed that, pretty questionable buy. They do have healing, so it's like definitely not the worst. Good pick, good pick. Notice Nasus. Ult. Notice our left side. Protect the Draven. Try and get the pick. So, the biggest problem with the itemization here is, although Thornmail is a great item, all you need is the Bramble Vest to apply the healing reduction, and that allows you to have more itemization, more gold for another more effective item, because you really don't need the full Thornmail. Pretty unfortunate. Peel for the Draven. Focus the whoever's on. Auto. Use your hook for the Xin. Still not quite enough. I think we might have even been able to kill him with the E, but just a pretty scrambly fight. Don't buy that item. So it looks like we fell for the bait of the recommended items. Recommended essential items. Taking magic damage from a spell reduces all subsequent magic damage. This is great against Cassiopeia, Kassadin, Ziggs, Xerath, but against an all AD comp, not quite useful at all. So let's skip ahead here. Lead to the dragon. We're probably going to lose this dragon as well. This one is not the greatest. These are great wards other than the pink, but this would be a good warding spot because here, since they're taking over the game, you can't really go past there. Like, you have no vision here, so you have to assume that they could be anywhere in this triangle. And if you play like that, anytime your towers are gone like this and you only have the inhibitor towers, you need to play like this. And then you have that line at the front warded, and you just gather the farm that come to you. If you play forward in this area, you could risk losing an inhibitor here. And there's no dragon coming up in the next little while, so you don't really need to force anything. So I'm just going to skip ahead here. So this is good. Nasus trying to free farm. Draven stacking up. We don't want to be playing aggressive here because it's just too risky and we don't even have all our players. Playing overly aggressive when you're being pushed on can be risky because if you lose that fight, you lose a lot. Like if they're pushing a tower and they get an ace and even one of them survives, that person can just keep pushing onto the tower. They do have Baron threat here, so we need someone. Oh, Nasus, I believe, gets picked. No, you guys can come into this. Good auto on the trend. We want to be just standing front lining, backing off because we don't have cooldowns. Oh. Good idea. We don't want to stay in those fights because we don't have the full team there. And since we died quite fast, we just weren't able to get off a whole lot. Like, if you see this happening, I don't know if we were aware of the minimap, but we don't have the full team here. We know that their full team is most likely here, and they're going aggressive on this really hard, so they must have at least 3 players, possibly all 5. So it's good that we didn't hook in, and we autoed the trends and slowed him with the E, but at that point, you just want to get out of there. Draven's safe. You use the ult. That was a pretty good ult, but you want to flash out of there, especially when you still have this much health and you can come back into the fight with more abilities. That was a lot of damage. I don't think we expected that. But if we survived that fight, we would have been able to peel against the Vayne. Vayne would not have been able to get into there. She still died anyways. But we would have survived essentially probably the whole fight if we used our summoners properly there and saved our health by dodging their little collapse. So I think, do they win off of this? No. They most likely, they're going to push in the bot. We have to respond. They're probably going to go for Baron. All we can do really is, like, we have great vision, so at least we can almost certainly say that they're at Baron. We really shouldn't just be hovering around like that. That was a waste of a pink. I'm very surprised they didn't Baron. They're probably going to be pressuring Baron. Dragon's not for at least a minute. And we have great vision, but we don't want to, like, in a situation like this, we can lose off of one team fight. So we want to treat the minimap like this is all black. Like, nothing exists back here. We just want to focus on our side of the map and staying safe. Unless we can clearly see that they have 1 player there and 4 down there, then we could go for a Baron play. But generally, we have to turtle this out. We're too far behind. So they're clearly all bot side. Stepping up like this is pretty risky, but it looks like we're able to scatter and go for 3 for 2. 3v2, possibly 4v3 down here. They flashed over. As soon as this happens, we should be noticing that the Diana's fighting the Quinn and helping the Diana right away. She ends up dying. I feel like we're going to lose off of this. Peel the Draven, peel the Draven. Flash over the wall. At that point, I just flash over, auto the trimmed. Get right up in his face. Ignite. And I think we lose the game off that. Okay, interesting game. Biggest thing I noticed, learn when you have a lane advantage. Nautilus and Draven are great, absolutely fantastic early game champions, and against a late scaling Vayne and a Lulu who actually can help out early game, but it's just against the oppression of a Nautilus and a Draven, can't do too much. So playing aggressive in the early game, especially on Nautilus, would have really changed the state of the lane on the bot side. It probably would have helped Draven pop off. And the second thing that I noticed, we lacked a little bit on the minimap department. allowing Vayne to freely farm while Lulu was helping the jungler was pretty disappointing. Especially when it was pretty obvious too, like Lulu left lane and came back, and Vayne wasn't punished, so that's another really key point. And third, maybe focusing on using summoner spells, because there was many times where we could have survived or done way more damage with Ignite and reduced their healing in those situations. There was at least 2 times that I can think of where we just didn't use Ignite properly, probably 3 or 4. And as well as the flash, saving it for awkward times doesn't do anything. So those were 3 key points that I would take away from this video. And that's all I've got for this one. Thanks for watching. Cheers.